You're watching TVC News at 10. We'll begin this hour in Abuja, where it's been a busy day for members of the House of Representatives Committee on Power. What they're doing is to ensure that power is available to Nigerians. And to ensure that electricity supply is constant, the lawmakers charged the Ministry of Power to double its efforts in making it a reality. That call was made at an interactive meeting on the collapse of the nation's grid. Oloyede reports.
This cannot be the best of times for Nigerians, who, after enduring all forms of challenges, now have to contend with possibly the worst period of power outage. The collapse of the national grid has led to a variety of problems affecting the welfare of the citizens. It has led to collapse of small businesses whose operations depend on stable electricity supply. This has attracted the public outcry, especially in the midst of scarcity of petrol and high cost of commodities.
I received a correspondence from you.
The legislators have called this meeting to find out from those that should know reasons for the embarrassing situation.
There is no light, no fuel, no gas, typically no energy.
The permanent secretary in the ministry stands in for the minister, who is unavoidably absent. He insists that the crux of the matter is that a disruption in the operation of gas plants is responsible for the collapse in the national grid.
Current problems are due to disruptions in some gas plants. Despite proactive actions that were earlier planned to ramp up generation by thermal gas plants at this period in anticipation of low water level at the hydropower stations.
And the lawmakers are livid.
My heart bleeds for this country. We may never have it right, probably during our time.
To assume that there is some level of conspiracy targeted at maybe bringing down government efforts at trying to make power work, despite all the monies we have appropriated to this.
Honestly, my heart bleeds too, because even the solar, the power sec is turning until the end of next year. Yes, so that means we will continue to be in total darkness until end of 2023. Haba.
In a very sad situation. These problems are not just starting now. For instance, we know every year there will be shortage of water. And then there will be problem at this time.
The lawmakers directed the ministry to provide further information on steps being taken to restore electricity to Nigerians and promised to report the development to President Muhammadu Buhari for his action. Oloyede, TVC News, Abuja.
Away from that, the Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, in collaboration with the National Energy Commission and relevant stakeholders, have launched the updated version of Nigerian Energy Calculator 2050 to tackle climate change. This makes Nigeria the first African country to launch the 2050 calculator. This was disclosed at an event in Abuja. Maria Mohammed was there.
Climate change in Nigeria threatens economic growth in sectors dependent on climate conditions like agriculture, fishery, forestry, and many more. A landmark research shows that infrastructure is responsible for 79% of greenhouse emissions and 88% of all adaptation costs. It is why the Nigerian government went into a partnership with the UK government to develop Energy Calculator in order to provide sustainable energy for all. The energy calculator will help reduce carbon count numbers in order to take responsibility for greenhouse gas emissions created. There is an urgent need for Nigerians to key into this initiative as it is beneficial to everyone. At this event, leaders in the science, technology, energy sector and relevant stakeholders all agree that the world must make sure the planet is kept healthy for future generations to be comfortable.
Nigeria, with a large population, requires a huge amount of energy, both for our needs now and also in the future. We are happy that our country is also endowed with abundance of energy resources.
Production using local capacity. I want to emphasize using local capacity of the energy transition plan and periodic update in order to comply with the commitments of
The British High Commission, on its part, pledges continued support for Nigeria in developing sustainable energy.
To this end, the Ministry of Environment, as the national coordinating body of climate activities in Nigeria, will leverage on this tool for policy and decision-making for the implementation of Nigeria's long-term strategy for climate change under the Paris Agreement.
Enthusiastically, but also with a sort of measure of severity, given the real challenges the world is facing today, trying to reconcile energy security, the price of energy, and of course, climate change.
Versions of 2050 calculator are now being used in over 30 countries across the world. The group wants the party to rediscover itself and put its house in order to prepare for the challenges ahead. Maria Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
Elsewhere, a regional meeting on the peaceful application of nuclear technology among African countries is ongoing. The forum, hosted by the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission, aims to scale up the acceptance of nuclear technology in various areas of human development. Sifonesian has details.
Experts in nuclear science and technology converge in Abuja to share knowledge and tools for applying nuclear technology for peaceful purposes. Nuclear technology is being applied in various aspects of technology, including healthcare, animal production, food and nutrition, as well as radiation safety. But the negative impact of nuclear technology continues to pose a stumbling block to its acceptability.
We can be able to use this technology to come up with a variety of crops, for example, through breeding mutation, that they would be able to sort of withstand this salinity or drought or water stress as well.
In hosting the forum, Nigeria seeks to scale up the level of acceptance of the technology for peaceful purposes.
You know, in implementation of nuclear science and technology, there are three major gaps. One, you have to have the requisite manpower, human capital development. Two, you have to have the funding mechanism for you to implement the programs. And then three, we have to have acceptability of the technology itself.
The overall objective of the meeting is to ensure that Africa is not left behind in effective use of nuclear technology. At the end of the day, the forum hopes to scale up the acceptability of the application of nuclear science and technology for peaceful purposes. Sifonesian, TVC News,
Abuja. The bus rapid transport driver Andrew Nice, suspected to have murdered 22-year-old fashion designer Oloyede Ayonwola, has been arraigned before Justice Sherifat Shonaike of the Lagos State High Court sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square. The suspect pleaded not guilty to the offenses of rape and murder, and another rape incident of a young lady which occurred last November. Kemi Faladiyemo has details.
Andrew Nice and others said to be at large were accused of conspiring to rape and murder Bamishe Ayonwola at about 1900 hours on February 26, 2022, between Lekki-Ajah Expressway and Carter Bridge in Lagos. He's also accused of raping another young lady who's 29 years old last November around the Lekki Conservation Center, which is also on the Lekki-Ajah Expressway. Dr. Jide Martins, who is the Director of Public Prosecutions, represented Lagos State, while Isaac Ezekwem represented the defendant. Another counsel, Ayo Ademiluyi, announced appearance for the Ayonwola family.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, Dr. Jide Martins, told Justice Shonoike that there is a strong likelihood that the state government will amend the charges against the defendant, Andrew Nice, and that the post-mortem examination of Ms. Ayonwola is still pending, the result of which will be brought to the court when it has been conducted. Though the defendant pleaded not guilty to the 4 counts charge, his lawyer says they will be considering an option of plea bargain.
Inviting international observers, international forensic observers, international forensic pathologists to so conduct that pathology. It is the opinion, the report of that pathology that would be of use to us. And of course, the prosecution, no we are watching brief, we can only be seen and not be heard. The prosecution also said they will be available to employ video links, which are so about that. Wonderful enough, the late Bamishe Ayonwola was so gallant enough, was so resolute enough to produce serious video evidence that will be useful in this subject.
The case was adjourned to May the 9th, 10th and the 11th, 2022 for trial to begin fully and the defendant was ordered to be further remanded at the Nigerian Correctional Center in Ikoyi. Earlier in March, Yaba Chief Magistrate's Court remanded the defendant for 30 days, pending the DPP's legal advice, which has now been issued, prompting the case to be heard at the High Court, which is statutorily empowered to hear capital offences such as rape and murder. Kemi Foladiemo, TVC News, Lagos.
In Kaduna State, the number of people killed by bandits in Kara local government area during a series of attacks on Sunday has risen to 34. This latest figure was confirmed by the Kaduna State government earlier today. Chairman, Kara Local Government Council, Matthias Simon, had pegged the figure at 26 on Monday. Giving an update on the attack today, the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, said the unidentified assailants attacked Sonje, Agban, Katanga, and Katako communities, all within Kagoro Chiefdom of Kara Local Government on Sunday night. He explained that 34 dead bodies were recovered by security operatives after search operations and detailed checks in the general area, adding that 2 military personnel were among the 34 casualties. Over 200 houses and 32 shops were burnt in the attack, while 3 vehicles and 17 motorcycles were vandalized by the armed gang. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate is asking security agencies in the country to be more proactive in the fight against insurgency, banditry and terrorism to prevent loss of lives and property. Deputy Senate President Ovioma Agege made this known in response to a point of order raised by Deputy Whip Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, representing Niger North District. Tijiswadewe reports.
Rising on Order 42, Senator Sabi Abdullahi drew the attention of the Senate to the recent onslaught by bandits in his senatorial district. The lawmaker explained that the bandits, who came in large numbers from Zamfara State, attacked a police station at Nasco Town in Magama local government area of Niger State.
On Tuesday, they proceeded where they launched a massive attack against a tomato company in Magama local government, that is Nasco. What is significant here, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is that having done that, they proceeded to attack a police station. And in that police station, they killed the DPO, CSP Umar Mohammed Takingari. He was killed while addressing his men for the next operation they are having.
The Deputy Senate President commended the swift intervention of security agencies, but urged them to adopt a more proactive approach to guard against criminal activities.
Having indicated the route that these bandits are perfected for use in perpetuating these criminal activities, one would have thought that the security agencies will actually do a better job in quarantining that environment. But from your personal explanation, it's also clear that they've done their best. They were not unmindful of that, and they were able to at least come back with a reprise and to take them out. But would have wished that they took a proactive action.
Thereafter, the Senate observed a minute's silence to honor those killed by the bandits in Magama local government area of Niger State. TJ Suadio, TVC News, Abuja.
Aspirants contesting to occupy national offices in the All Progressives Congress are yet to be screened by the Sub-Convention Screening Committee. But this has not stopped campaigns and consultations as the party walks a tightrope ahead of the elective National Convention. We have details in this report.
As the elective National Convention of the All Progressives Congress draws closer, it is unclear what mode of selection will be adopted. The zoning arrangement that supports a rotation of power among regions and power blocks inside the APC may not be the magic wand to calm frayed nerves. Contenders are also involved in horse trading that might sway the votes of delegates in their favor. Senator Sani took his campaign message of a new voice and a new direction in the APC to the party's caucus in the House of Representatives. He promised to improve internal democracy, ensure broad-based participation, and imbibe a culture of consultation, tolerance, and consensus among members.
Inasmuch as we did not make our political structures, our political parties, institutions in this country, were laid down rules and regulations, where the constitution of the party and the guidelines of the party will be the pivotal, the antidote to any ill will that will come into the party, we will continue to face problems as a political party.
Some of the sub-convention planning committees crucial to the success of the convention have already started work. The governor of Kogi State, who is also the chairman of the APC Convention Subcommittee on Security, says plans are already in place to ensure a hitch-free and safe convention.
Every committee, just like the security committee, all the committees, all the leaders, all the delegates, members and stalwarts of APC are enthusiastic and jeering and working assiduously towards a successful national convention of the APC.
With barely 3 days until the national convention, the ruling All Progressives Congress is yet to screen aspirants for various national working committee positions. It is unclear if time will permit the party to screen and also hear appeals before the convention day.
A young man from Ogwashioku in Anocha South Council of Delta State is challenging the status quo by contesting for House of Assembly seat, a position which has never been held by a young person. Mr. Oloyede joins the list of growing young persons vying for political positions from presidency to governorship and House of Assembly in the state. Ikenamichi reports.
After a long period of being used for thuggery and other vices during elections, Nigerian youths are now changing the narrative by offering themselves for elective positions. The 2022 NSAS protests across the country may have contributed to this renaissance among young people to participate actively in politics. In Delta State, the youth seems to be leveraging on a friendly youth atmosphere as there is already a young presidential aspirant and several young people have shown interest in the governorship seat. The list is growing by the day as this young man from Ogwashioku becomes the latest young aspirant trying to alter the norms. He seeks to represent his constituency in the State House of Assembly.
Yes, youth are ready to take leadership position. You can see it. I'm a youth. I'm trying to make sure that I come on board to lead my people. And I expect every youth from every constituency or every part of Nigeria to also show interest. Yes, youth can do it. We are ready. And as you can see, a lot of youth have declared interest to run for governorship, presidential positions, senatorial positions. So we are equal to the task. We are up for the task. The youth are ready for it.
The clamor for young people for political recognition over the years has been gaining traction, with major political parties in the country granting waivers for youth. But can the young people speak loud enough to be heard?
We have so many of them that have come to show their interest, to inform us about their intent to contest. And majority of them are youths. It's encouraging. It's a welcome development.
Yes, we have young people that can lead this nation. We have men that have capacity, youth that can lead this nation. The president of France, how old is he? Is he not a youth? The president of Ukraine, how old is he? Canadian president, they are all youths. So we believe youth can do it. All we need is for the support of our leaders. They should support any youths that have interest to run so that things will change for the people.
Are we witnessing a renaissance in youth participation in politics, or are these interests from young people just a storm in a teacup? Time will certainly give the unbiased answer. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Ogwashuku, Delta.
A concerned youth group under the umbrella of the Ekiti Freedom Movement has staged a walk to the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Ado-Ekiti, demanding for an extension of time for registration and collection of permanent voter cards in the state. INEC, however, says the demand will be difficult to concede as the commission is in the heat of preparation for the governorship election. Ayomide Ajegbe reports.
They were here in their numbers, armed with various inscriptions on the placards, chanting, "Give us more time." Their request is that the March 14 deadline for registration and collection of PVC should be extended, stating that a lot of citizens will be disenfranchised in the build-up to the governorship election in the state.
We still have majority of people, more of our people that are yet to register. Many of our people came to the INEC office more than 3 times. But due to the population or due to our presence of many people, they waited for a long period of time, they couldn't get it done. We are here to make a passionate appeal to the INEC to allow our people to register more.
They argued that most people who had their data captured online could not collect their PVC before the data lapsed because of various circumstances.
When they started the deploying of gadgets, registration gadgets to the wards, it only lasted a week. Because we should also understand the economical situation of Nigeria. Take, for instance, where this place is now. To actually get money to come here might be difficult.
Responding, legal officer of INEC told the protesting youth that it is less likely that their request be granted, especially with the governorship election toward less than 90 days' time.
We have 90 days to the election, and the registration stop in between 90 days to election, so that the people that have registered, they will get their PVC. So within these 3 months, the PVC of registrants will be produced. That is the reason why we are stopping the registration.
In a related development, a workshop has been organized for INEC officials in all 16 local government areas of the state ahead of the June 18 governorship election to assess the preparedness of the commission and analyze the readiness with the use of technology.
We are here ahead of the Ekiti June 18 election and to assess where the commission stands. They are the ones assessing themselves, in any case with their staff, and to see where they need to ensure that they put necessary checks for hosting a very successful election.
The workshop was organized by partners from the European Union as well as the national leadership of INEC, which will assist in early identification of threats and challenges and how to deal with them. Ayomide Ajegbe, TVC News, Ado-Ekiti.
Let's talk education. The Registrar, Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, Professor Oloyede, has condemned politicization of creation of state-owned universities in Nigeria. He also advocates a review and amendment of Nigerian Constitution to subject establishment of universities to rigorous scrutiny and satisfaction of the National Universities Commission. Rafi Ahmed has details and will return with Business News.
It's a gathering of pro-chancellors of state-owned universities and their stakeholders in Nigeria. They are here to deliberate on the challenges facing their institutions and to also chart a way forward. The keynote speaker, Professor Oloyede, says the review of 2004 National Education Policy did a philosophical damage to the foundation of education in Nigeria as against the vision of the country's political and founding fathers.
Political ancestors in Nigeria like Obafemi Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello and Nnamdi Azikiwe, they did not overemphasize the establishment of universities. They emphasized more where the graduates of the universities will work.
The JAMB Registrar frowns at the proliferation of universities rather than functionality at the detriment of industries where graduates will work. He blames this on the contemporary national and subnational leaders of the country.
But under the watch of our successive contemporary national and subnational leaders, major industries were allowed to die or be killed. And there is a huge unemployment problem in Nigeria, leading to an increasing army of angry and frustrated youth.
Declaring the conference open, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, represented by his deputy, says universities must become integral channels through which government thinks.
I'm really hopeful that these distinguished audience will throw up other useful ideas through which we can collectively squeeze water out of rocks.
Forum to raise issues, to generate ideas, and bring to the fore the issues that will drive our university system.
Nigerians should be expecting policy shift in the area of governance and leadership of state universities in Nigeria.
Professor Oloyede said the inability of the state governments to adequately fund the state-owned universities has led to cutting corners by the management of the universities in order to generate funds through admitting students without UTME. According to him, students in this category will be denied call-up letter by the NYSC. He, however, advocated establishments of specialized universities. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Osogbo.